Hi, welcome to Wrinkle Society of Hope. If this is your first time, welcome. And those that are returning, thank you so much for continuing to follow. Today, you are going to hear a courageous woman come to share her story about the wrinkles that she had to press through in life. Now, don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you can continue to hear the stories, and also hit subscribe and share our YouTube channel so that some other woman can be motivated and encouraged by the stories that come. I am so excited that you are here, and I hope to hear from you soon. Have a great day. Hello, Wrinkles family. I am back. We are back. Wrinkles is here. Like I said in my live that, we took a little hiatus, had to do self-care, self-love, but I am back with this amazing person here for today. First of all, this is another international interview because she is somewhere else. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, tell you where she is, and tell you a little about herself.
Okay, thank you, Summer. I'm really excited to be here. This is really fun and exciting. And I'm actually broadcasting here from Spain. I live in Spain. I actually live in the kind of the center of Spain, maybe an hour and a half from Madrid, in a little village called Casavieja. But right now I am in the north of Spain in Galicia. And so I'm in a town in Galicia by the ocean to try to get out of the heat because we're having a really bad heat wave right now in Spain. And up in the north here, it's much cooler. So I'm coming from the north here of Spain and Galicia.
Nice. It sounds beautiful. Pictures are beautiful.
Yeah.
Stalking you on Facebook.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome to come visit.
Oh,
you're a friend in Spain now.
I will take you up on that because
okay,
been on my bucket list. So
yeah,
you gotta come visit.
You should.
Awesome. Well, thank you for coming to Wrinkles today. Of course, I have to let you know that Melissa and I are part of the Wisdom of the Silver Sisters. We are part of co-authors in this book. As you see, that #1 Amazon.com bestseller. I think what chapter were you?
You know what? I don't even remember what number, but the name of my chapter is Surrender to the Tiger. I think it's like 30 something.
Yeah, 32.
32, yeah.
Page 245.
Yeah.
Surrender to the tiger.
Yeah.
I love that. First of all, my school mascot, one of my alumni, I'm a tiger. And
nice.
so I saw that. I was like, see, it's just perfect.
Connected.
Exactly. And I'm just like so excited. We're going to talk more about your chapter later, but let's get into it. So as I see, your face is as beautiful and as smooth as can be. And as we go through and surrender ourselves in life, we go through some physical changes. How would you feel if you do have a wrinkle physically? How do you think you would feel about that?
Well, I definitely do have some wrinkles. So I don't know if you can see them on the screen here, but I definitely do have them. Very well-earned wrinkles, right? Yeah. So I have some wrinkles here from laughing and smiling, which I'm very happy about. And I also have especially some right here from maybe crying in difficult times and really, concentrating and focusing and thinking a lot. So I have, I guess, wrinkles on a good day. I try to look at them as kind of like a map, maybe, of our life experiences, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly. It's just, that's life. And so our face is a little bit of kind of a map of the life we've lived in some ways. On a bad day, maybe my inner critic comes up and is like, oh, look at that wrinkle. You just cover it up. But yeah.
Yes, it's so true. I mean, through life, we definitely have a roadmap of ups and downs, intertwines, all those kind of things. Can you talk about a wrinkle that you had to press through during your journey, through your map? What was that?
Well, I've had plenty of them. In Native American spirituality, they talk, which I love. I love all kinds of spirituality, like a blend. For me, I don't have one particular religion that I follow, but I like to look into the Hindu. I love yoga, and I like to look into the Native American spirituality and kind of experience all the different aspects and elements of spirituality. And so in Native American spirituality, they talk about like having certain animal medicines. And I definitely have what they call snake medicine, which means that I've endured many snake bites throughout my life and had to really learn and become a master at transmuting the poison and the venom into wisdom and lessons from life, basically. So I've had many wrinkles throughout my life. Starting definitely in childhood, I experienced a lot of childhood trauma. I don't know if you know the ACEs, the adverse child experiences, is kind of a test that you can take, or kind of a map to help see how traumatized a person is, or what are some of the experiences they've been through. And I score pretty high on the adverse childhood experiences from childhood trauma. So later in life, especially, probably all through my life, that affected me. Although I kind of, like most trauma survivors, tried to just push through and act like I was fine. And in some ways I was okay. I mean, I've had a really great life. I've had a wonderful life so far. And at the same time, there were a lot of emotional issues, insecurity, especially fears and anxiety and different things that I faced because of the trauma. And I didn't really, like most of us, I didn't have any education about that. So you kind of, happens to a lot of us, you kind of just feel like, oh, something's wrong with me, like what's wrong with me? And so that's definitely a limiting belief that I've had to work through my whole life, is this feeling of something's wrong with me. I should be different. Why do I feel like that? Why do I act like that? Why? But at the same time, that has led me to commit my life to understanding myself, understanding other people, healing, finding different ways of healing, psychology. I'm a therapist. I'm a transpersonal therapist and a trauma-informed life coach, Reiki master, a yoga teacher, mindfulness teacher. And so I've basically, since I was in my early 20s, been on a path to kind of try to understand human beings, myself, my past, my feelings, and so, it's basically, especially in these last years, I was diagnosed with Cptsd, which is complex post-traumatic stress syndrome.
Wow.
Stemming from the childhood trauma. And I guess that was around 2013, after going through like a very major period of crisis. And so I didn't really take on board the diagnosis, because in that moment, I didn't have a lot of trust in kind of the traditional Occidental psychology system. And I had been diagnosed when I was younger with another diagnosis that I was like, that's not true, and I realized it. And so when I was diagnosed, I kind of just blew it off, and I still continued down my own path of trying to learn about, study psychology, spirituality, meditation, mindfulness, and therapies, different alternative therapies. And finally, just a few years ago, I actually really started to pay attention to what was Cptsd. And it was actually a very accurate diagnosis. And a lot of people, I feel like, have Cptsd, are not diagnosed, or they don't understand it. There's not that much, now there's a lot more information about it, but there definitely wasn't before. And so in these last years, I've really had to work to find my way out of what felt like a really long, dark tunnel. A lot of anxiety, a lot of fears and phobias. And so, I mean, that's basically what my book, that we'll talk about later as well, it inspired me to really, in one of these moments, which I call kind of like a phoenix process, where you really just burn down to the ground and then decide to rise back up, and so that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm in kind of rising back up mode, but definitely, there's so many different experiences, wrinkles that I could tell you about, but that's kind of in a nutshell how I could answer that question.
And I mean, it's so true that so many people don't realize that your childhood trauma, things you experience, is really something that you have to work through in order to go on living day to day, you know, and acknowledging that. I mean, I love the fact that it's brought you to such a place to be there for other people and be able to write a book that's going to help so many others. That's amazing.
Yeah, it is.
And now, I mean, digging through and looking at your childhood and all that, what would you say to that person that you're looking at as a child? What advice would you give that person looking at what she went through?
Well, the first thing I would say is that you are absolutely okay, perfect, and amazing just the way you are. I would tell her it's not your fault. And I would tell her to reach out and find someone to talk to help her.
Yeah. There's more young ladies, men, little boys out there right now that need to hear that.
Yeah.
So many, I think the world has taught us a lot to be strong. You know, you hear, be strong, don't cry. And they don't
suck it up.
Yeah, suck it up. Exactly.
Basically.
How many times say, get help, reach out.
Exactly.
Find somebody to talk to. That needs to be promoted more.
Absolutely.
Suck it up. Because
absolutely
that, and you know, sometimes it's just so indebted in our culture that it's the first thing that comes out of someone's mouth instead of saying it's okay to not be okay.
Exactly. And I mean, it lives inside of us in our minds as like our belief of like, you know, I should be okay. You know, I should be able to just handle this, and it shouldn't have a problem with this, and shouldn't, you know. And it's absolutely, you know, it's like reach out, get help. I mean, we all go through hard times in this life. We all know that life is absolutely amazing and beautiful and miraculous, and it's also really difficult and challenging a lot of times, you know. And we don't have to do it alone, and we're allowed to feel scared, to feel down, and we can get the help that we need. We don't have to kind of push through on our own. And, you know, there's so many ways and people, I mean, that can make all the difference between whether or not an adverse childhood experience becomes a trauma. If you get the help that you need when it happens, it doesn't have to turn into a trauma, you know?
It doesn't. So true. So true. And amazing that you've conquered through so many things and still pushing through, still pressing through to get, like you said, elevating to that next moment and step. The woman that you are today, and you got a t-shirt made. What does that t-shirt say?
Well, I have a couple slogans that I've been using since my book. That I've you know, put on some of my Instagram accounts or Facebook or different things, and I think they would be appropriate for t-shirts. One of them is feel it, don't feed it. Feel it, don't feed it. Have you heard this story? Have you ever heard the parable of the two wolves, it's called?
No.
So they say, again, this is like a Native American parable. They say that there was a grandfather teaching his grandson about life. Or since we're talking to women here, we could say it was a grandmother teaching her granddaughter about life. Either way. And the child is, you know, the grandparent is explaining that, you know, there are two wolves that live inside of each of us. One is a wolf of love, of courage, of resilience, of joy, of all of these kinds of things, right? The other is a wolf of hatred and ignorance and fear and pain, and he said these two wolves live inside of each one of us, and they're battling with each other. And the little child says, well, which one is going to win? And the grandparent says, the one you feed.
Wow.
The one you feed. So I like this. I love this parable. I've known it for a really long time. However, I also, as a therapist, I am working with myself, and especially because I came from, when I lived in Arizona, I was very involved in the whole New Age movement and the whole spiritual world, which was really wonderful for me. I learned so many things and I wouldn't change it for anything. And I think there were some aspects of that now they refer to as like the spiritual bypass, where you try to kind of skip over things, you know, and it's like, instead of dealing with trauma or dealing with, you know, these kind of difficult emotions that we have inside of us that we all have, we kind of try to jump over it by being positive and being, you know, happy and being spiritual. And it can almost become like something that, another reason to not feel like we're good enough, you know? And so I like the parable, but I don't like the idea of looking at it as though there are some emotions that are negative and bad and we have to push them away, because for me, that's not the way. The way is more like mindfulness teaches. And if, you know, when we're doing any kind of emotional work, we know that it's not about trying to push away what we're feeling or judging it as wrong or bad or trying to make it different or fix it even. It's really about learning how to feel it, kind of hold the space for it, bring safety and love to it, and allow it, you know, and allow it to kind of move through like a weather system. Yeah. And it's true not to feed the story in our mind about, you know, because that person did that or said that, or because I did this and I should have done that. The story is the part we don't want to feed. But the emotion itself is really, I think, about learning how to feel it. And again, so for me, it would be a t-shirt, feel it, don't feed it.
I love it. And you know, that's so true, because I tell people a lot, as being a social worker, we have feelings for a reason and they have definitions for a reason.
Absolutely.
So they must be real, and we should be allowed to feel them, because if there was no definition for it, then it wouldn't be a purpose.
Exactly. Our emotions are an important part of us as human beings. It's, you know, how we experience life. It's all the different colors of the rainbow, you know, and there's nothing wrong with our emotions. And for me, especially growing up, having experienced those things and not having been able to share what I experienced with anyone, I had a lot of emotional problems. Like I was really sensitive, and I always felt like I was judged for that or picked on or something, like, oh, you're so sensitive. And so you learn really how to repress how you feel, which just makes it get more and more twisted. And you know, so I feel like it's important that we start to educate ourselves and each other and our children especially about how necessary it is to feel and how natural it is. And there are different ways to understand and to process our emotions without making yourself wrong or bad about it and having to always be happy or a certain way, you know?
Oh, so true. I love it. And I just love the fact, I really want to lead into talking about lessons from the storm. Your book, it took my breath away. First of all, the title was so strong. Is it 7 steps to turn, what is it, breakdowns into breakthrough?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
That is dynamic. That title alone was dynamic, because how many times that we say our life, you feel like you're in a storm in life.
Yeah.
Talk more to us about how you brought this together, and just tell us about it. It's amazing.
Yeah, thank you. It's this is basically part of my Phoenix rising process. You know, about a year and a half ago, I was really in a really low. After so many years of kind of feeling very frustrated about my internal process with the Cptsd, trying different kinds of therapies and still feeling like it really had a hold on me, like that, you know, I had these kind of fears and phobias and anxiety constantly. And, you know, I had throughout those years, from 2013 till, you know, a couple of years ago. I mean, obviously I had moments where my life was good and I was happy and I was enjoying things, but on a daily basis, I was dealing with the Cptsd. And it really wears on you after a while, you know, that you're just like, God, just to do simple, normal things it feels like I'm going out to like slay a dragon or something, you know? It's like, what's happening here? And that's what happens. Your nervous system gets kicked into overdrive, hypervigilant, you're in fight or flight mode. And so I really had, especially when adversity or difficult things come up and you're already kind of struggling just to deal with normal life, it really can plunge you into dark and difficult places. And that's what had happened to me. I had ended a relationship with my partner who I'd been with for 6.5 years, moved out of the house that we had together. My business was really struggling. I have a business here in Spain called Relax in English. We do English immersion courses for Spanish business people based on mindfulness and emotional intelligence to help them break through the language barriers to speak English. And so that business, we've been doing pretty well for 8-9 years. And then suddenly COVID came along basically. So COVID almost destroyed my business because these are, immersion courses that you do in person on site. And Spain was really affected by COVID. They went into lockdown for a really long time. And so for a couple of years now, my business I haven't had any work. And so along with all the other changes, I was really, really struggling. I met a new partner a couple of years ago, and he's a wonderful man, very spiritual man, very supportive and amazing person. And so there was just a moment where, I just felt like, God, my life is just a disaster, and I feel so lost, and I feel so down, and I feel so discouraged. And I think I tell this in my book or somewhere. I've told this story, maybe in my book, that there was a day where I was, just sitting in bed, and when you have a lot of anxiety and stress, a lot of times you really carry it in your body. Yeah. And so I had a lot of tension in my body, and I had kind of thrown out my back. And so there was a couple of days that I had to spend in bed and with this back pain. And I was just like, oh my God, what can I do? And a song came on my playlist that I had playing on my computer. And it was a song, like an old song, I think by Bjork. And it said, you're trying too hard, surrender. And what else to say? You're trying too hard, surrender. Life's it's not meant to be a strife. It's not meant to be a struggle uphill. Wow. Surrender, And it felt like something inside of me kind of just clicked. And I was like, that's it. I've been getting that lesson over and over again throughout the years. This is why I surrendered to the tiger in the Wisdom of the Silver Sisters book, because it was really for me a question of stop this internal war. Stop the internal war, trying to be a certain way, trying to be a better person, a better therapist, a better whatever, not, show all of these scars that you have and, not let them affect you and not want to accept the reality, and it was like, stop fighting basically with yourself, stop fighting with the tiger of your fear, even, that like the tiger in a way for me represented fear, represented my courage as well, and my strength and my power. Yeah. And it was like, surrender, stop fighting with it and let it kind of become an ally. And so, hearing that in the song, it was like another reminder of that. And it was like, what, that's it. I have got to, my life is worth too much. I have too much to offer. Yes. To allow this to continue to control me, to allow these stories, especially the stories about how I'm not good enough, something's wrong with me, I should be different, I should be better, my life should be better. It's time to stop letting that be the voice that I listen to and believe and allow to like steer the ship, And so I really made a plan. I've been on this path. I'm 45 years old. I've been on this path since I was in my early 20s. And I said, I have a ton of tools, a lot of tools. I know the things that have really worked for me. I've been working off and on with clients for many years. I know the things that work for me, for other people. So I really sat down and I made like a roadmap to say, okay, yes, I have Cptsd. Does it have to control my life? No, it doesn't. I can use the wisdom that I've gained from some of these experiences, and I can help myself and help other people. And so I kind of created a roadmap, and that roadmap is Lessons from the Storm, 7 Steps to Turn Breakdowns into Breakthroughs. I sat down and I started, writing. And writing is something I've always loved. Since I was a little girl. It's one of the things that helped me in the most difficult moments, to write and write. And thanks to Wisdom of the Silver Sisters and Sandy and Sharon, because right around that time, they came along and said, do you want to participate in this book? And I said, yeah. And so that really sparked that writing vibe inside of me, or that writing fire flame inside of me. And I started writing, and I wrote my chapter for the book. And then I started writing the 7 Steps book, The Lessons from the Storm. And it feels like it's kind of like saved my life, and wow. And so I've created a program from the book, a 4-month program, like a therapy coaching program that I've been doing with clients as well. And I feel like it's really, really helping people. It really has helped me. That's one of the big things, is really, sometimes we have so many tools and so much knowledge, but wisdom is when you really actually put into practice those things. Just knowing the things isn't enough, And so for me with the book, it was really about, for myself, and then helping other people to really put those things into practice, And so, yeah.
I'm so excited. I only read the big intro and I was blown away and ready to jump into the book. So
yeah.
How can people get this book today?
Yeah. Well, I'm working on it. At the moment, I have it as an ebook, and I have it as a beautifully designed ebook. My life partner, Jamie, he's an awesome graphic designer. He made this beautiful ebook. It's just really amazing. So right now I have it as an ebook, and you can go to the page. We'll have the link up above on the screen there,
right there. Yes.
Yeah. Which there's a page where you can go, and right there you can pay a donation. I have it right now as pay what you want. And you can have the ebook, which has some guided practices, some guided audio meditations in it. And then also I'm working with Becky from Spotlight Publishing to get it into a print version, hopefully in the fall, get it up on Amazon, get it into a print version. So, but yeah, right now it's available on my website. I'm just launching my website. Actually, yesterday went up live, but we just have the homepage at the moment. We're trying to get all the other pages set up, but that's breakthroughcrisis.com. So you can go to the ebook page, which we'll put the link up on the screen, breakthroughcrisis.com. I have Instagram, I have Facebook. So
perfect. And as you see, as the links are coming across there's a Facebook and our Instagram, the website. Also, so if someone would like, because you said you're doing sessions already. I know once you all see this ebook, you're gonna want to book sessions because it's just so amazing. How does someone connect with you to get a session?
Yeah, and any of those in the breakthroughcrisis.com page, there's a on the website, there's a page where you can register and you can contact me through Instagram, through Facebook. It's actually the way that I'm doing, because I have worked for years as a therapist and as a coach. And I at the moment, what I'm offering is a program. It's a 4-month program with weekly sessions. And then in between the sessions, I have contact through WhatsApp. So that if people need support, because sometimes when you're working through a difficult moment, it's really helpful between one session and another to be able to have some contact. So the program includes the one-on-one individual coaching sessions, as well as the kind of support between the sessions. So yeah, they can find out information about that. If they just shoot me over a message, I'll be happy to send information.
Awesome. Well, again, you see all the links coming across there. Reach out. The 4-month session, I mean, it's life-changing. And thing is that you have the support that you need. It doesn't matter if you're barely starting out with getting support, or you felt like you had support before and you need to start again. It's always good to reach out to get through those storms in life.
Absolutely.
And I'm telling you, this is where you need to go to get your support. Thank you so much for coming to the Wrinkles family today.
Thank you, Summer. I'm really, really happy to connect with you. I feel such a really kind of soul connection, and we were part of the book together, but this is kind of being able to connect in this way, be part of your beautiful Wrinkles family is like such an honor. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And we're going to have you back again for a live. I definitely would love for you to talk a little bit about some of that trauma and childhood trauma. So
yeah, absolutely.
To have you back if you agree to that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm happy to.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. Bye, Wrinkles.
Bye.